Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. So, what we have here is that the Biden administration is really hating the American people. It is quite obvious that this is the case, considering the fact that what they're doing is they're trying to sell or auction off border wall materials because, well, they hate the American people. They love the illegal immigrants. And that's all that they really care about. Let's be perfectly honest here. So what we have here from the Post Millennial is pretty much is saying Trump tells Biden to stop auctioning off border wall materials. So in a Monday morning press conference from Mar-a-Lago, President-elect Donald Trump called for outgoing President Joe Biden to cease the selling of unused southern border wall materials. And it's really not great, right? It's really, really stupid that Biden is doing this. But of course, he hates the American people, so why wouldn't he? There's going to be more stuff about coming up with him tomorrow because I have to do a little bit more research on that one. So it says this comes after it was revealed that the Biden administration is auctioning off sections of unused border wall materials starting at $5. Texas Lieutenant Governor Don Patrick has vowed to buy back the portions being sold off and give them to the incoming Trump administration, etc., etc. So without further ado, here's what Trump had to say about this.
Really terrible. We spent a tremendous amount of money on building the wall. The wall was designed specifically by the Border Patrol because it's very hard to climb. They need to have see-through. They need it to be steel because you can't cut. It's very powerful steel. It's very hard steel. It's a special type of steel, but very, very hard to cut. Inside the steel, as you know, we pour concrete, and that's a grade 10 concrete, which is a very strong concrete, very as though you were building about a 60-story building. It's very powerful concrete. They've made tremendous technology advances in the word concrete. Who would think that? But I know that from the construction industry. Today, what you can do with concrete is incredible. So we have a very strong concrete. And then we have a rebar. We put rebar inside the concrete, and the rebar likewise is very hard to cut. So it's a very expensive process, very expensive wall. And then we put a anti-climb plate on the top. You saw that. And I didn't like the look of it, but then when I watched, we had people testing. We had mountain climbers actually testing, and they were not able to get over the anti-climb plate. So I said, all right, I guess we're going to put it on. That plate on top, which I never loved the look of it, but it works so unbelievably well, you have to do it. So we spent a lot of money on building it, and we have hundreds of miles that we put up. A lot of people don't realize, but we did 571 miles of wall. That's why we had such good records, in addition to the fact that Mexico helped us with their military. They kept people out, and they were actually very good under the past leader. But now we ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. It's very expensive. And now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago. And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars, because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, you know, we can do some more because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, and that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation. And all it means really is that we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more, not even talking about the time. Time would be pretty long, but we'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars more on building the same wall that we already have.
Yeah, and it's really incredible on what Joe Biden is doing here, and it needs to be investigated. I think that Joe Biden honestly hates the American people. He has shown that he hates the American people. I think this is not a surprise to anyone anymore. And yeah, we have this here from the Daily Wire saying Biden races to sell off border wall parts before Trump takes office. says here that the Biden administration is using its final weeks to haul a massive amount of border wall materials away from the southern border to be sold off in a government auction, an apparent effort to hinder President-elect Donald Trump's effort to secure the border, the Daily Wire has learned. Videos obtained exclusively by the Daily Wire from the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents show unused sections of the wall being hauled away on the back of a flatbed trucks from a section of the border just south of Tucson, a hotspot for illegal crossings during the Biden administration. The agent estimates that up to half a mile per day of unused border wall is being moved. They are taking from these stations, No-Go's, Tucson, and 3 points, the Border Patrol agent who was granted anonymity to speak freely told the Daily Wire. The goal is to move all of it off the border before Christmas. Trump made clear that during his campaign that he intends to finish construction of the border wall, making use of the materials that have remained untouched at the border since President Joe Biden took office in 2021. If the material brought to the border during his first term is sold off, it will significantly delay any progress on Trump's flagship campaign promises at the border. And this is what they have. This is pretty much what they have showing here, where they're just quite literally hauling it off, hauling it away, hauling it away. Yeah. So, and it goes on to say that the government contractor DP Trucking LLC is transporting the pieces of the wall north on Interstate 19 to Pine Oak Air Park in Marina, Arizona, where it's being auctioned through Government Planet, a surplus government equipment auction marketplace. They just started taking all the wall that was not used, which is still totally good and unusable, and they started taking it northbound. They're pulling it off all off the border. Harold Lambeth, the owner of the trucking company, confirmed to the Daily Wire in a phone call that his company is transporting the unused border wall sections north away from the construction sites. He said he is unable to disclose further information about the work. Video of the GovPlanet auction site where the material is being taken shows seemingly aimless piles of unused border wall material. Another video taken from one of the construction sites on the border shows DP Trucking LLC trucks passing through with the same style of unused border wall stacked up the back of their flatbeds. And as you can see here, this is all the border wall stuff that's being auctioned, right? This is the stuff that Joe Biden is selling for $5 a pop, or maybe just $5 for all of that, and that's just insane, guys. It is insane. What Joe Biden is doing here is just completely and utterly hating the American people and trying to shaft the American people the best that he can before he leaves. That is what he's doing. And it goes on to say here that Texas Lieutenant Governor vows we will buy every piece of border wall Biden's selling and giving it to Trump. After the Daily Wire published an exclusive report revealing that the Biden administration was racing to sell parts of the border wall before President-elect Donald Trump takes office, Texas GOP Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick fiercely declared his state was prepared to bid on every piece being sold and then giving it directly to Trump. We mean business in Texas, and Tom Homan means business, and President Trump means business. Patrick told Fox News' Laura Ingraham, and I don't know if you heard the latest today, Laura, but Joe Biden is now hauling off the border wall that's been lying down for years, and he wants to auction it off starting at $5 a piece. And yeah, it's really quite disgusting, right? And I can't believe it. A message there, White House, right now. I will bid on all of that wall, and we will buy it in Texas, and we'll give it to Donald Trump, he asserted. So I'm going to find out first thing in the morning where we're going to take that bid. I've got $1 billion in my pocket to do it. I write the budget with Texas State Senator John Huffman. We have the money. We're going to have about $6 billion in our budget for border security. We'll buy it. Dan, don't drive up the cost. Don't drive up the cost. It's only $5 a piece of the wall. I know, and I will go in and buy it all, Patrick. I'm not going to drive up the. So he's got to make it like a funny thing about it. But yeah, this is completely insane. This is completely insane. The fact that we have here is that Joe Biden is willing to sell off the wall, hinder Trump in any way possible, and but illegals make it harder for Trump to do his job is insanity to me. This is not what we call a peaceful transition at all. This is what I call a semi-hostile transition. And maybe it's time for to be consequences here. I can't stand Biden. I cannot stand him. He is deliberately hurting the American people. He does not care. And as long as he hurts Trump in any way possible, that's what he's going to do. And as it gets in the way of the American people, well, guess what? He'll do just that. I can't stand the Democrats. I can't stand Biden. I can't stand this administration. It is disgusting. And he really just hates the American people. He really just does. And he's showing it clear as day. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. Cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.